Good morning. Oh, good. It's early. Is it? No. It's only 7:32 a.m. I just stayed up a little late last night. I don't want to really... I'm ashamed. I stayed on my phone. It wasn't anything. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was no good. It was no bueno, as they say. Welcome to the Gradual Report. My name's Danny. It is 7:32 a.m. Monday, October 20th. I love the sound of my own voice, so I wear headphones so that I can hear it. Yeah. This is Gradual Report Episode 1. Basically what happens is your life becomes completely and totally unsustainable. And then you have to pull back. And then you have to reevaluate. And then you have to go, what do I really want to do? What do I really love? And then like a month goes by without you talking to another single person. And then you go, I'm going to start a podcast. And that's what this is. The podcast. It's the very first one. So, sorry in advance. I apologize. But it's gonna, I'm gonna keep doing this. Is, it's sustainable. Let's put it that way. Certainly hope that the energy level's sustainable. What is going on? Oh, and as far as topics go, in the comments, anything you want. Shoot me a comment. I'm gonna read them. And then I'm going to incorporate them into future podcasts. But as far as this one goes, I have to apologize to the woman that I allegedly farted on at the Albertsons. Okay? Now, I have mixed feelings about this apology. Because part of me feels like you're in a public space. Well, people are going to fart. You just kind of accept that. But then part of me is like, on a human social level, that's not acceptable. Like, I wouldn't be okay with just people farting on me. And maybe in some way I was taking... some liberties, some advantages, some, what do you call those, privileges that I have as a man farting in public. So I would also like to mention here that there's a cosmic balance aspect that no one is really talking about, and I'm going to kind of pull it all out there for you to judge because I can't get anywhere with this. I tell people what happened and they die laughing and they think I'm joking. But I am not. I am serious. This happened to me. And I don't know how to feel about it. So I'm asking the internet. All right, let me paint the stage. It's a grocery store. Like any grocery store, there are several aisles. And on these aisles, there are things that you buy, food items. It's a grocery store. So I'm lactose intolerant. I don't know if you know that about me, but I don't do so well with the milk and the cheese. To be honest, I can eat a little bit of cheese, and I love pizza. Okay? So if I have some pizza or have some cheese or a slice of cheeses in a burger or something like that, I can usually just go like, my stomach's a little silly, pass a little gas, and the moment goes. And the more cheese, the more milk, the more bloaty and gassy. And if I go nuts, if I go absolutely out of my mind and someone goes, you gotta try this ice cream. And I go, well, how could I say no to ice cream? And then it turns into violent diarrhea. That's what happens. I haven't had Ben & Jerry's in years. My body just turns it into violent, like, we need to pull over. We need to pull this car over because I'm going to shit. Type of diarrheas. And I've done that. I've said, there's an outhouse. And there is. Between Topanga and Sunset on PCH, there is an outhouse. And I've shat in that outhouse. Anyway, I digress. Let's just say that on this particular day, I had a little bit of cheese. And my body was going, I'm gonna have to, we don't have any lactose. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna turn this into gas and we're gonna blow it out as ass. That's the plan here. That's what my body's doing inside. I'm not aware of this. I'm just kind of going, I think I have to fart. Now, when you're at a grocery store with your wife and you're feeling farty, I recommend not farting near your wife. Because let's face it, your wife has endured many a fart. And that's not building a tolerance there. It's not like she's had 50,000 farts sent her way and she goes, not a big deal anymore. I'm okay with it. It's quite the opposite effect, I find. What happens is, it gets added to like a tally board. This again? I thought we talked about this. I thought this is something we've discussed at length. And I thought we agreed that you would not fart near us again. So that's where I'm at emotionally with that situation. It's like, don't fart near your wife. Hold it. Oh my God. If you fart at the dinner table, oh Jesus Christ. Oh Jesus Christ. People are going to stop eating. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Don't do that. Not okay to fart at the dinner table. Not okay to fart near your wife. Elevators, also. Now, airplanes are kind of a mixed bag because there's a lot of people in an airplane and no one knows kind of who it is, but everyone knows. They know. But you can kind of just be like, look, man, sometimes I'll go to the bathroom and I'll flush that insane suction toilet and I'll fart in there if I'm feeling kind. But sometimes I'll just crop dust everybody on the way to the bathroom. I'll just like, look, guys, and people will be sitting there going like, oh, Jesus Christ. He's walking to the bathroom again. Last time he walked by. Anyway, these are some of the things that I've learned in life. I'm sharing them. Pearls, wisdom, where to fart, where not to fart. I mean, it should be fairly obvious. Now, here's a tricky one. Outside on a hike on a windy day. Now, if the person's downwind, they will pick it up. I've actually farted. Again, it was my wife. And she has an amazing sense of smell, which is really only her fault. But she's just like, what, did you fart? And I'm like, dude, I'm outside. We're on a hike. How is this? How are you smelling this? How is this even possible? She'll pick it up. Anyway, so I've learned this. And so when we're in the grocery store and I have to fart, I'll go over by the bananas. When I know full and well we have lots of bananas at home, and I'll fart because I know she's not going to come near the bananas. So there I am by the bananas at an Albertsons, farting, just letting a quiet one rip. I'm not quite spreading my butt cheeks, but I am going like, let's keep this one quiet. Let's let her out slow. Let her out slow. And my wife comes over and she goes, we don't need any bananas. did you fart? And I go, that's why I'm by the bananas. What are you doing coming? Of course we don't need bananas. We have all the bananas. We just came here for bread. Anyway, she goes, that's okay. And walks off and starts looking at potato chips or something. I don't know. Things we're not allowed to have in the house. So we just we go to the grocery store and we look at them like, oh, look at these potato chips. They got pickled potato chips now. What is this? What are these pickled potato chips? I can't believe this. The inventions of all the flavors of potato. I stopped eating potato chips. And they have amazing variety of potato chips now. I don't know. We got the pickled ones. I'm not going to lie to you. We got the pickled ones, and my wife loves them. She loves pickles. But I don't know. I was like, whatever. I'm not going to make myself unhealthy about it. Anyway, so now my wife is the endless victim of my farts, but on this particular day, the person I'm apologizing to in this moment is someone who apparently, I think, now here's the cosmic aspect that people aren't really taking into consideration. The cosmic aspect is, and I know we're all very familiar with karma, right? We're all familiar with karma. Now, I think that everything happens for a reason. And I think that karma happens to people when it happens to people. It gets you back. If you're an asshole to somebody, it gets you back. Life. At least I like to think that. I like to think at some point, what comes around goes. What goes around comes. What you do to the, you know what I mean. So when I fart in public, I think of it as almost a cosmic, karmic service that I'm providing. I am balancing the scales of the universe, really. Now, I don't know what this lady did in her life. Maybe she killed a fly. Maybe she, took a seat from an old woman on a bus. I don't know what it is that she did. Maybe she took a few extra swings at a piñata during her quinceañera. I'm not sure what it is. But let's just say that I farted and that the karmic scales of justice were balanced. Okay? There's an aspect to that. There's a reason that this happened to her. And I think I know what the reason is. Because, and you know how you're pushing your little cart around the supermarket, and you see someone and you just know they're annoying. You look at them and you go, I got that feeling from this lady. I just got that immediate feeling. And the reason I got that feeling was because she was on her phone quite loudly in a supermarket, which is kind of like nobody wants to hear that, right? And she had the phone on speakerphone. She had it on speakerphone, and she's walking around chatting to somebody on speakerphone, going yappa, 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 pushing her little cart, going yappa, yappa. And you just get the feeling, you're like, oh God, I don't want to be near this person. This person is oblivious to other people. There's no courtesy. There's no, none of that. And that's why I think the cosmic thing came into play here, to be honest. If I'm being completely honest, that's what I think. Now, I'm holding a fart. 90% of the time I'm in the supermarket and I'm holding a fart because I'm with my wife and I'm pushing the cart. And she's telling me something about this and something about that. Look at these chips. Look at these. Should we get some bagels? I can't eat bagels. There's a lot of calories in bagels. There's some protein in bagels. We're going back and forth on a lot of these bread items. And we end up getting, I'll show you what we got. It is what it is. But here, hold on a second. We got some Fit Active lightly salted rice cakes. That's what we got. That's all we were able to get because I had to run out of that store. And I'll tell you why. So I'm pushing the cart and I'm like, all right, we're heading down the bread aisle. After going down the chip aisle and checking out the bananas and what have you. And guess who's on that aisle? Surprised everyone. Right now, in my mind, this is what's happening. I got my wife. She's a bit ahead of me in the cart. She's ahead of the cart, and I'm kind of following her. And I got a little wind behind me. I got some wind. So I could fart right now. And she's not, 50-50, but if we stop, she's going to catch whiff, and we're going to have that discussion again. And I don't want to have that discussion again. I know better. So I go, while we're moving, I can fart. And then I look around, there's some people around. I'm like, oh, God, I got to get down this aisle. I'm going to turn this corner, and I'm going to let it rip. When I turn this aisle here, my wife's ahead of me. She's, going fast or whatever. And I got the cart. And I'm already mentally prepared to let this fart go. I'm already half farting, really. Like, the mental part of me, I've gotten, let's say it's a rocket launch, right? And we're basically just counting down to the positioning of the moons at this point. We've got the fuel loaded. Everything's go. Everything is green go. And I turn the cart in the corner, and I'm basically letting it rip at that point. And guess who is right there? That's right. This oblivious, talking on her phone, speakerphone, random woman, girl, something, I don't know. She seemed like one of those people who maybe she was pretty when she was I don't know, 16, 17, when they're all young and I'm beautiful, right? That whole I'm so beautiful, right? But then 30 years happened. Now she's 46. And she's going, my kids hate me. I smoke, whatever. I don't know what her life is. But I do know that she's on speakerphone. And she's taking up this half of the aisle with her speakerphone conversation. And she's got her cart pushed the other way, kind of blocking the aisle. And I'm trapped now. My wife just there's enough space for her to just without slowing down. She gets right by this. And now I've got to maneuver the cart, and it's just enough room. And I'm doing the geometry on the cart so we don't touch, because ugh. But I'm farting. That's the thing, is I'm farting. And I get a little uh-oh. I try to stop it. I try to put the brakes on. I try to put the clamps down. But it comes out. And when it comes out, I just go, fuck it. All right, this is happening. This is my life. This is the nightmare that I live in. And I let it go, man. I let it rip. Yeah. And it was audible. I don't want you to be there and think this wasn't audible. This was audible. And part of me was kind of she's on the phone. Maybe she won't hear it. She heard it. She heard it in a very big way. And it's one of those situations where you just turn the afterburners on. You just go. You just go. We got to get out of here. This is sick. We got to move. Something bad happened here. And my wife was ahead of me, and she just kind of looks. She didn't look back yet. She looked back till the lady started screaming. Yeah. So this lady started screaming, "That's disgusting. You're fucking disgusting." And I was just like, whoa. Yeah, you know who you are, you fucking disgusting pig. And I'm just like, oh my fucking God. You know. I grabbed these off the shelf. And I looked at her and I was like, me? And at that moment, by the grace of God, or the grace of the universe, I don't know what, somebody else kind of, because it was like it was the edge of this aisle, but I had crossed into the other aisle, and there's like this aisle that kind of cuts between them, and some guy was pushing his cart through that center area, you know, intersecting, and she goes, "You fucking disgusting pig," and that person stops and looks at her, and he was just like, what? You know, like he didn't know what was happening and she didn't know what was happening. And my wife looks at me and she goes, "Did you fart?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, you farted on that lady?" And I go, I don't know, maybe. I mean, she was kind of I mean, you want me to like full admission now? Is that what we're doing? I have to like relive this moment. And she goes, "She's freaking out. We need to leave." I was like, yeah, we should go. We should go before she kills us. Jesus Christ. So we run to the register. We run to the self-checkout. We scan this thing. And we're gone. Man, we're in the parking lot. We're like, I hope she doesn't come out of that parking lot and scream some more. I know what you do. I don't know what happens, you know. I don't really, like most people that you fart on, they don't, you know, they just kind of go, who did that, you know, or something. I don't know. I mean, I've come across, I've been farted on. You know, I've had a waitress, every time she comes over to the table, I know she's dropping bombs on me. I don't know why, you know. I certainly didn't eat the food. It's just like, okay, if this is what's happening here, we need to not be here. But anyway, so there you have it. There's the situation that I'm living with, the burden that I carry. And I've told a few people, you know, what happened. And I can't really get an answer on, is it right, is it wrong? You know, let me ask you this. Was I a karmic justice warrior? You know, was I balancing the scale of the cosmos? Was talking on the phone, speakerphone in a public place, was that kind of just like, hey, look, if you do that, you're going to get farted on? The universe is sending you a signal. Or am I an asshole? That's really the question. And that might be what we explore in this podcast. You know, kind of, I come on here and I tell you guys all about the asshole thing, all the asshole things I do. All of the socially unacceptable, dark things that I get into. That's really kind of that, and I have a really hard time stopping at, like, stop signs. That's probably the worst thing that I do. Is like the stop where you stop but you don't really stop, you kind of roll through a stop sign. People in California know what I mean. They call it the California stop. I'm pretty terrible at it. Sometimes I'll just blow right through them. They weren't there. I got pulled over once. I blew right through a stop sign, and so I was, oh fuck, you know. I got pulled over, and the guy walks up, and I already had my license and registration. He's like, "You know why I stopped you?" I was like, I didn't see it. I saw it, officer. something or other. I saw it and I didn't stop. I didn't give a fuck. You know? There's a giant park, okay? And there's a stop sign here. And it's not a park. It's really just like a drainage ditch. Drainage that they put some trees in that they now call a park. But it's really like an irrigation canal that it's always empty. And there's a stop sign here for some reason in the middle of the park. And why? It's not like people are crossing the street. There's no reason for it. And I was alive at a time when there was no stop sign there. So let me just say that. I've lived in a city long enough that I've watched stop signs turn into stop lights. And I'm like, this used to be a stop sign. And now I have to sit here with nobody around. So sometimes I'll blow a light. I'll blow that light because I'm just like, dude, I stopped. We're clear. We're good. I don't know why I don't know where this comes into. Anyway, I'm getting off the subject. The subject is, what is the Gradual Report going to be about? It's going to be yammering. Mostly yammering. Some people call it diarrhea of the mouth. Some people call it relaxing. Some people call it conversation. Of course, this is a conversation with myself until you watch it. Then it's a conversation with you, sort of. Now, will I have guests on the Gradual Report? Absolutely. If they've farted in public, I want to have them on the show. If we can call this a show. It's me, a ring light, a microphone, and a camera. Well, it's not even a camera, really. It's a phone, isn't it? It's the iPhone 17 Pro, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I got a new phone. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to get a new phone. I'm going to start the podcast, my new phone. That's kind of how this came about. That, and I haven't posted in like 2 years, and I was just like, what am I doing with that? What was that? What was the point of that? And that might be a future podcast. That might be podcast number 2. What are we doing here? What is the purpose of all this? To interact, as far as I can tell. To interact, to have a conversation. But again, not a conversation. Anyway, I don't want to get too weirded out and too meta on the first show. Let's see where we're at time-wise. 28 minutes. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Okay. It's going to be 29 minutes and 30 seconds. How about that? Well, here's what I do. When I'm at work and stuff, I'll listen to a podcast. You know, if I'm just driving to work and I don't feel like listening to whatever the fuck's going on the radio, I'll listen to a podcast. So that's kind of where I'm headed with this. I'm going to think this is something you could have on in the background. If you like the sound of my voice, which I think is kind of nice, to be honest. I'm listening to here in the headphones, and I'm not hating it. It's not all high-pitched. I'm not all screaming. I'm not all ranty. I'm just kind of talking about dumb shit that happens. And, the consequences of those dumb shits. I'll probably run over a kid one day. I'll probably not stop at a stop sign, run over a kid one day and be like, that's why they put the stop sign there. Because there's kids in the road. So, point taken, inner monologue. I will start stopping at stop signs, like full and complete stops. That's what I'm going to do. From now on, henceforth, from this day, I will make a full, I will pretend I will come to a full and complete stop. People in the car with me, they'll be like, what's going on? Why are you stopped? And I'll be like, there's a stop sign. Let's take a moment here. Let's take a moment. Let's appreciate the stop sign. and then let's go forward. You know, my grandmother, she used to pray every time we got in the car. We get in the car, we put our seatbelts on, and before she starts it, she would sit there, she would calm herself, and she would say a prayer before she drove anywhere. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to do that. I'm not that worried, you know. But I will, I promise. Red lights, I mean, if they're the arrow, let's say that you're at an intersection. Okay, let's say that you grew up in a neighborhood and you've been in this intersection 1,000 times. And 1,000 times it was just a green light that turned red, right? But then some safety something or other, they decide to put another light up in this intersection, and now there's a red arrow and a green arrow. And it's like, I want to turn left. My entire life I've been driving here, and it used to be I could just turn left when it's clear, but now I've got to wait. Now I can see traffic coming, and I got to stop. I got to say, you know what? This red light here, this red arrow light, it knows better. I got to sit at this light now, even though I know there's not going to be another person for 25 minutes. Just saying. Some of the red lights don't make sense. Like, society has grown up faster than it needed to. Well, that was almost deep. Society's growing faster than it needs to for us to... I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into that. That's a whole different crayon. That's a whole different crayon of worms. Crayon of worms. Okay. Well, I hope this was mildly entertaining. I hope we've introduced some stuff here. If nothing else, I've reintroduced myself to you, dear viewer, and I'd like to reiterate again, if you got to this point in the podcast, I hope you're almost at work. You know, what can I say? I can't imagine anyone else. 32 minutes. 33 now. Jesus. All right. Yeah, that's really all I have to say today. So if you get to this far in the comments, I don't know, it has to be some sort of secret code word, right? Because, like, I want to know that you made it to here. That sort of thing. That's how we can communicate. It's be like one of those spy situations. You know, where, like, no one knows. Like, why is everyone commenting? Ooh, let's do that. Let's say rice cakes. Rice cakes. Anyway, yeah. If you get to this part of the podcast, just shoot a comment that says rice cakes, and put a little something in there. You know, a little, just anything, and I'll read it. I'll go through the comments and I'll see the ones that say rice cakes, and I'll pay particular special attention to those, and I'll say to them, you've made it. You enjoyed. Yeah, joy. Can't this bring joy? Can't I be bringing joy to somebody right now? Isn't there someone out there, someone somewhere who would enjoy this? I know I would. I'm going to listen to it at least twice before it, gets posted. For sure. I'm listening to it right now, in fact, in real time. I don't even know what I'm going to say next. That's what's so great about the podcast. You don't really know what you're going to say, but you're speaking anyway. So, we're both listening to this for the first time in this moment. This is a moment we are sharing. Crazy. But I do have to go to work. I got to do these in the morning. I got to do these before I go to work. Because when I come back from work, to be honest with you, I don't feel like it. I don't know. I'd like to say that it's because I'm creatively fulfilled with my job. Because I got to do a lot of creative things there. But I don't know if I'm like fulfilled with it. I don't know if it's like that fulfilling creativity. It's kind of like, hey, mister, be creative. We got a problem. Can you fix it? Of course I can. Of course I can. You've called me. You're paying me. I can fix your problem. But when I get home, I'm just kind of like, I wouldn't say I'm tired, although I do take a nap. But that's just, I don't know what that's about. It might be a lack of lactose in my diet or something. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get into that. We'll dive deeper into that. Why is everyone tired when they come home from work? I think it's decision fatigue, to be honest. If I'm, I don't know, my little cursory, like, why am I so tired? Because I made 3,000 decisions today. Mission critical decisions. And I'm the one they call. I'm like, there's no call. There's no someone else. It's like, Danny, figure this out. Okay. It's not that complicated. I'm not doing like brain surgery. I'm not a doctor, Anyway, I'm trying to wrap this up. That's what I'm trying to do. But I'm also kind of testing. 37 minutes. Jesus Christ. I think theoretically I could go on and on forever. I could go on and on. I could be an endless talk box. Yeah. That's a gift, isn't it? I mean, think about that for a second. I'm sitting in a, could you describe this as a spaceship? What is this? Yeah, this is a spaceship in outer space. And I'm floating through space in this giant spaceship called Earth. And I have interactions with people, And I'm endlessly talking. Endlessly. Like, I think that is special. I think it's a gift. And I'm sharing that gift now with you. So, let's have a conversation. If you made it this far in the old podcast, I should think of a code word for making it even further than rice cakes. Like rice cakes, people, they're amateurs, aren't they? They're not really podcast listeners. They're kind of like those guys, and they made it to the rice cakes part of the podcast. They heard the fart story, and they go, hey, that's kind of funny. Oh, cosmic justice. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, she's a bitch. She's a bitch. She deserved it. She deserved it. That sick fuck, deserved on her phone. Like the whole world needs to hear her conversation. Was it Jack Nicholson there? What's going on? I don't even know. I got a little excited. But let's say that those people that made it to the rice cakes part, that they're just amateurs. And that these people, the people that made it to 40 minutes into the podcast, those guys get it. Those guys have a commute to work. Those guys need They need chatty Cathy in their ear. That's where we're at right now, I think. I don't know. It's the first one. We're going to get more topics. I have to do things that are trending, apparently. Otherwise, I won't get noticed. I guess that's the whole point, right? To get noticed. I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. I got just enough noticed in the first iteration of the Gradual Report to where I was kind of like, okay, I get it. This is what this is about. And I like it. Don't get me wrong. I love people. No one's ever been mean directly to me. A few people have farted near me. So, got to start asking the big questions. Like, what did I do wrong? Why are people farting near me? That's what I really want. You know what I really want? I really want that lady to go home and talk about how some guy farted on her at the Albertsons. She took her stand and said, "You're disgusting, you fucking disgusting pig." And for her kids or husband or aunt or somebody to see this video and go, "Oh my God, we found him. We found the guy who farted on you." And for her to write me a letter being like, "I was on the phone with my mother," and I go, fuck, I'm glad you saw the podcast. Did you? And I'm glad whoever it was made it past rice cakes and made it to the end. That would be wild. That would be full circle. If I could, I would have her on my podcast as a guest, and I would work through the emotional trauma. Because a person who yells at other people in public, they're going through something emotionally. It's not me. You could fart on people. There's no reason to yell at someone. There's no reason to call them a disgusting pig in your full volume voice and have like everyone around you be like, "Oh, this is crazy." Like, I've smelled many farts. None of them are like that bad. Something's going on there. A woman needs help. She needs forgiveness. And I'm going to take this moment and I'm going to forgive her for yelling at me. I'm going to forgive myself for farting on her. That's what this is going to be about. If you take anything away from this podcast, let it be you can forgive yourself and you can forgive your fellow humans and you can move on and you can be happy. That's really what I hope comes out of it. That, and I have this compulsion to speak. So those two things, kind of fighting their way out of my brain. That's what this podcast is about. That and whatever you guys put in the comments. Okay. Good. I love you, my little lemon drops. Do join us tomorrow when I put up podcast number 2. Because why the fuck not? It's free, isn't it?